guys, real quick, before the video starts, I realized that I actually kind of rambled on. I actually do show footage of our timeshare condo and kind of how it's set up. So if you want to just fast forward, if you want to watch some of the dialogue and kind of just fast forward to that, you say I don't really care about all the things that you're talking about. I just want to see the actual condo setup and what it looks like. You can just kind of fast forward to the end of the video. I'm gonna have that footage at the end of the video. Hey, before we begin, please just like and subscribe to my channel. It helps my channel out a lot. I take my time in making these product reviews for you all and getting them to you. So please just help me and my channel out by liking and subscribing to my channel. How you guys doing? This is Dale from Any Review. And today I want to do something different. I'm going to give a review. Just not about a product, more about a timeshare and my experience with it. So last year, me and my wife, we actually bought our first timeshare. We bought our timeshare at Massanutten in Virginia. And I just kind of want to give you the story leading up to how we bought it and things in that nature. And in this video, my intentions are to actually speak about my experience when buying the timeshare at Massanutten, Virginia. My experience with just being there, and do I feel like it's a great value for the money, and do I feel like just it's something that people should look into. I want to say I'm not being sponsored by Massanutten. In fact, you'll see in some of the things I talk about in this video, it'll be evident that I'm not sponsored by them, because I am going to talk about some things. I'm both some pros and cons, and when I say cons, I'm not talking about cons as it relates to like the actual buying experience or like my experience there. Just some things that I saw that I didn't like, and just things in that nature. So I'm gonna kind of go, and this is what this video is about. So first, me and my wife, we've been to Massanutten quite a few times. I will say one of the benefits I believe about owning a timeshare and me and my wife experiences is that we've actually had the blessing to travel many times for little to no money, because we have friends who own timeshares. My wife, 2 people in her family own timeshares. So oftentimes, more than not, we in the duration of our marriage, we've had the benefits of traveling because our friends and family members have timeshares, and we've been able to use them for like maybe $200. Me and my wife, actually, one of our friends who actually we ended up buying the timeshare because of them. They actually let us use a week for their timeshare for our honeymoon. We had a honeymoon. Me and my wife had a honeymoon. We went to Kissimmee, Florida, which is basically Orlando, Florida, and Disney World, and kind of had to went to Disney. Was it Epcot, whatever? So we actually went to Disney World, me and my wife, for our honeymoon, because our friend let us use their timeshare, and we only paid $249 for the whole week. So again, now I do want to say the timeshare, it was a resort in Kissimmee, Florida. That doesn't include any kind of activities or anything like that. Usually with timeshares, at least from my experience, if I'm wrong, somebody in the comments, please let me know, because I'm open to correction. But from my experience with timeshares, that usually just covers your lodging. That doesn't cover any activities or anything like that. If there are timeshares out there that offer that, I would love to know about them, so I could probably look to get one myself. But so timeshares, in my experience, we've been able to use them with family and friends for little to nothing for weeks, for a week at a time. So that's wonderful. What do you know in the world where you're gonna go somewhere for a whole week at a resort for $249? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of one of my experience with one. So this same friend that let us use their timeshare for our honeymoon, for our last year was me and my wife had our anniversary around February, and they actually wanted to give us a gift for our anniversary. We had just kind of been talking back and forth over the years and just saying, we just kind of been tired, and we really needed a break, just me and her, to get away from the kids. So what they actually did was they used their timeshare in Massanutten, and they've been owners there for over 20 years. And so they actually got us a free stay at Massanutten last year in February for our anniversary, and they actually kept our kids for us. So we went there for the weekend for our anniversary, and we really had we had a good time. For us, really, we just stayed in the room the whole time, and we went out to different restaurants and just stayed in the room and just rested and binge watched movies and TV shows, and we kind of walked around a little bit, because I will say it was February, so it was cold outside, and it was also raining that weekend. So we did go to quite a few of the restaurants on the Massanutten Resort, but for the most part, we just stayed and chilled and really got some some much needed rest. So my experience with Massanutten has always been pleasant. We've been a few times to different resorts because of again, family members and friends who have timeshares. So last year, our buying experience, this is the part where I talk about our buying experience. Our buying experience with Massanutten Timeshare, it was okay, to say the least. I will say that they have very deceptive buying business practices, in my opinion. Of course, my friend's wife and my own wife are like, this is just business. Like, it's nothing personal. It's just business. This is what they're taught to do. This is how they're taught to kind of grab your attention and get you to buy. So I guess for someone that sees this, or someone who maybe somebody who's in sales, or if you're a timeshare seller or whatever, you might like, man, this is everyday business practice. This is just everyday life for us. So I don't there may not be an issue with it from the business perspective of it, but I think from my side of it as a buyer, I think it's just very deceptive business practices that I just don't really like. Again, I understand we live in America, it's a capitalist society. I get it. You know what I'm saying? No sweat off my back. So we went there for the weekend for free off because of them. We didn't intend on buying a timeshare. And this is kind of where things kind of get like real, where this is kind of where I talk about the business practices being deceptive, right? So me and my wife, one of the things that they tell you is that, hey, you get to stay for a weekend, whatever, or I think it's like 3 days, 3 nights, but you have to sit in on a 90-minute presentation. Now, I will say my friend and his wife, they kind of gave us the rundown and said, hey, listen, if you're not trying to buy nothing, just say no. Listen to what they're saying. Let them show you around. But if your no is no and you don't want to buy, don't buy. Just keep saying no. So they kind of gave us like the rundown. They kind of basically they gave us the intel or everything that we'd experienced there, how to kind of maneuver around it, how to kind of keep saying no. So we didn't go in there blind. And many of you who've kind of had free trips, whether it's a cruise or some other timeshare, it's the same thing where they kind of where we're going to give you so many nights here for free, but you have to sit in on a presentation, which is 90 minutes. And the goal of the presentation is to get you to buy. That's the whole goal of the presentation. That's the aim of it. The aim ain't for you to go there and have a good time and enjoy your weekend, though you will, but the goal is to get you to buy. So long story short, they show us the different properties. They show us the different areas. They show us the Massanutten Resort, areas where they're building, where they're gonna do new things. Show us the water park. Show us the walking trails, the bike trails. Everything's wonderful. You know what I'm saying? And when we sit down and we actually go on a number, we're like, we're not really interested in buying, man, but thanks. And I want to just tell you guys right now, we ended up buying at $5,000. We bought in at $5,000, but they started at like 17,000. So just keep that in your mind. Keep that in your mind, because this is the games that they play, which is the part where I said that it's deceptive. But I understand because I know people who are in business. They help me understand. This is just business, man. It's nothing personal. It's not your feelings involved. Just look at it from this perspective. So for me, that's the part that I didn't enjoy. But again, I understand. It's business. I'm not upset. I'm not mad. But I understand. So we go on. We sit on the table. They gave us a nice lunch, nice buffet, all you can eat, food, dessert, drinks, and they give you, they sit here, give you the whole spiel, talk to you, try to get you interested. I said, cool, man. I can't afford it. I mean, really, I could, but I didn't want to buy one. So, okay, man, we understand. So that seven, it's like $17,800 went down to like, was it like 15,800. Okay, man, this is wonderful. I still don't want it. I can't afford it. So, that goes from like 15,000 to like, I think it was like 14,000 flat. All right, man, I don't want to buy it, man. Thank you guys for your time. Are you sure? Okay, man, we can go ahead and, let you go ahead and talk to the manager before you leave and give you your items. Another guy comes. The second guy comes. He goes from like, I think like 14 to like 12,900, and then it goes from like 12,000 to like 10 flat. And then no, I'm sorry, it was $9,999. And then so the second guy comes out. Nah, I'm not interested, man. But thank you. So finally, okay, man, we can go ahead and check it back and get your gifts. Now here's where the games. This is the games that they play. So we leaving. You know, we were thinking, okay, we finna go ahead because the presentation, they actually tell you that if you sit through it, they give you a Visa gift card. I can't remember. I think $100. It might have been $200 or it might have been $100. I'm not sure. So they taking it back. Come on, man. You have to sign. You guys have to sign. You know, sign for your Visa gift card. So we going back. You know, we thinking we finna sign for our Visa gift card. And the dude was like, you know what, man? This is our final offer. He pushes the paper, like it's like turned over, right? It's turned over. He pushes it to me, and I was like, "Come on, man, come on with the games, man." And when I flip it over, I'm like, "Oh man, oh okay, yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that." You know what I'm saying? So it's the business practices, I say, are deceptive because they play games. Again, it's the part of their business model. Looking back, was I offended at the time? Yes, at the time I was highly offended, and really I was only offended because I was there with my wife. It was our anniversary weekend. I mean, we really just wanted to relax, and you know, it's a different mentality when you're somewhere and you don't want to be there. As far as I wanted to be at the timeshare, I did not want to be in this presentation that they were going to give us to buy in. I didn't want to be there. And so when you already don't want to be somewhere, and this is the one weekend I get away from my kids, just me and my wife, to be all lovey-dovey and do whatever we want to do, you're wasting my time with this crap. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, so that was kind of my experience. And then again, when they showed us the offer was $5,000 to actually to buy and to own in, we accepted it. I will say that we bought it 2025 February, and we paid it off this year in 2026. 2026, we paid it off. And one of the things that I will say is that my friend and his wife, they coached us like we was going to talk to the feds. Like, I'm serious. You guys think I'm joking, but I'm serious. They coached us down to the T. They said, listen, man, if you're gonna buy, don't accept the first, the second, or the third offer. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that when we went in, because we had friends who were already owners for over 20 years, and they understood the games that they take you through. They told us about the games. We were well aware of the games that they play. We knew what to expect. We knew, don't take this first, second, or third offer. But in fact, we didn't take any offer until that they came with that last one, because we generally didn't want to buy. We generally did not want to buy, and it wasn't a money issue. We just didn't want to buy, you know. So I think that's one. So fast forward to now, and so the deal that we got is we get 3 weeks and 2 bonus weeks every 3 years. So that's the deal that we got in Massanutten. So basically, we actually just used this week, which is the Mother's Day weekend. My wife's birthday is May 9th, and Mother's Day weekend is on the next day, on Sunday. So we actually just went and spent the time in Massanutten. And now I want to talk about my experiences. My experience with Massanutten was that we really had an incredible time. Shortly, I'm going to show you some footage of our stay there. I just want to kind of show you. We bought in, I believe it's the Woodstone Meadows, which is it's condos, basically like apartment like situation as far as the way they're arranged. It's very good to the eye. The environment looks good. It's a golfing course, everything there that you would want. So we went there this weekend. We used our bonus week, and we stayed from Friday to Monday, and we spent about $500 because we went on a week that wasn't our week. So we anytime you go on a week that's not your week, you'll pay a little something, but you don't pay the full price as somebody who would pay, who's not a owner at Massanutten. So we paid like a little over $500, and that covered the whole week. Now we only stayed for from Friday to Monday, so whatever. But we stayed, and my buddy, his wife, they say they do the same thing. They might pay for the whole week, but only stay for like 3-4 days, and then they go home. But The thing is, like, in your mind, you're like, oh, that's a waste of money. It's not, because my wife actually looked it up online, because she was curious. She was like, I actually want to know how much it costs to stay here a night if you're not an owner. And it was like $474 a night to stay there if you're not an owner. So we just paid basically one night stay for a whole week. So we're cool with that. And what we got was, the way it is we have a 2-bedroom condo. One bed has a king size bed. And the other bedroom has two twin size beds. And we have 3 kids, and they also, in the living room, there's a huge sofa, a huge section of sofa that could probably sit like 8 to 10 people, and that folds out into a bed. So our son he just slept on the couch, and our 2 smaller children, they slept in the second bedroom that has the twin size 2 twin size beds. And we got 2 condos for, my wife said like it was like a couple bucks a night, and so we basically paid for like 4 something, but it came out like 5 something, 500 plus after taxes for two 2-bedroom condos for a whole week. And me and my wife and my kids stayed in one of the condos, and my wife's mother and sister stayed in the other condo. And it actually ended up working well, because my wife's mother and sister only stayed one night, so we actually ended up using both, kind of like crisscrossing both, because the way it's set up, it's like a hall. It's like a hall, and it's just the way that they have it set up. I actually like it, and again, you'll see in the video here shortly. But it's set up so that it's like it's a hall, and it's 2 rooms, 2 condos beside each other, and like nobody actually has access to your hall but you. So even if we only would have paid for one condo and not the second one, we wouldn't have had access to the second condo, but still nobody from the outside would have been able to come inside our hall. So that's kind of a good thing. It works out. And the guy told us when we buy that, if me and my wife were to if me and my wife were to go to Massanutten during our week, and we wanted to bring, again, my mom and her sister wanted to come again, we just have to pay $75 just one time, and that access to the other condo, and that's it. So I think that's kind of you really can't beat that nowadays, because me and my wife, whenever we go out of town on family vacations before we had our timeshare, we would spend about $800 a week for Airbnb. So, and also with our timeshare, we are owners. We are members of RCI, which is they have kind of other resorts that you have access to. You just deposit your week or whatever into RCI, and you're able to use the RCI other resorts which are like hundreds of thousands worldwide for like $299. So you'd probably just use your week for RCI, and then you'd have to pay $299 for the transfer fee, and you can go anywhere in the world. And my buddy, his wife, they've been to like many different countries all over the world with their timeshare, and they were like, listen, we don't care what nobody say. This joint has saved us thousands of dollars over the years. They eventually, a couple years back, they went to Puerto Rico, and they transferred their week and spent like $200 for the transfer fee, and that was it. So they were in Puerto Rico for a whole week for $200. That was it. And of course, they had to pay for their flight. But again, you basically got lodging in Puerto Rico for a whole week for $200. You really can't beat that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I think timeshares offer a great value for people with large families and who travel once a year. This is the part of the video where I actually talk about the value of a timeshare, and if you should get one or not, or is it a value to you, or is it a value to me? So the beginning of me and my wife's marriage, we didn't really travel a lot because we were just newlyweds and we were pretty much broke. to be honest, we were broke. And I worked for the railroad. I worked for Amtrak, so we would travel a lot. Well, not a lot. We would travel on weekends, but it would be like go to New York for a day and come back, or go to Philadelphia for a day and come back. So we would travel because I worked for Amtrak, and we had the free travel passes as far as being able to ride the trains, and we would just come back, or we would get a hotel for one night and come back. But it's like for one night at some mid-grade hotel. So now that we've been married longer, and we got 2 extra kids. We have a 13-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 5-year-old. Earlier on in our marriage, it was just my one son, so we just traveled, and it was just cool. But now that we have a bigger family, we don't. I remember we went somewhere one time, me and my wife, before we started doing the Airbnbs. We went somewhere one time, and it was like my two little kids, they were like still young, like weren't even walking yet. And I remember telling my wife, I can't do this again. And that's what part of staying in a hotel. I said, I can't do this again. I'm not gonna. I can't stay in a hotel. I can't get a hotel room with like 5 of us, and it's like one bathroom, and if you gotta use the bathroom, you gotta hold that joint or go downstairs. Nah, I'm not. I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? And also too, whenever we travel with our kids, we go to a Walmart or a grocery store and buy food and make our meals and stuff, because you're feeding 5 people. And it gets very expensive trying to eat out every meal for 5 people. So we that's another element why we started choosing to get an Airbnb. So for us to get a timeshare was a no-brainer, because we paid in at $5,000, even though they offered it to us like 7,000 something. And so for us, the value in a timeshare is really dependent on how much do you travel, how big is your family, and do you want to be able to have access to different places for that price. Now when we bought our before we bought our timeshare, this is the caveat. We heard so many different timeshare woes. Oh, don't get a timeshare. It's the devil. Don't get it. They'll take your money. And I think oftentimes what people do is, and this is just my opinion. I don't know. I'm not talking to anybody that I know, but I am. Some people that I know, they get timeshares, but they don't really travel that much. And I think that one of the things about timeshares is that also too, I know people who bought timeshares and they might have bought in at the first or second offer that they were offered. So they bought in at a high price, which is like if you'd have just waited, you probably got it done for like 10 grand. So I think we bought in at a low price, and now we're owners because we paid it off. So for us, our experience is like, well, we paid 5 grand and we get 2 weeks. I mean, 3 weeks every 3 years, plus we get 2 bonus weeks. So essentially we get 5 weeks every 3 years. So break it up, 2 weeks a year besides that 1 week. Besides that last year, or give or take, we break it up. So it's like, it really depends on how much you travel, what price did you pay in at, and just things of that nature. And our maintenance fee is only like $300 for the year. So I think that a timeshare is valuable if you don't buy in, if you don't accept the first, second, or third offer, or even the fourth for that matter. Don't accept the first, second, third, or fourth offer that they give you, because trust me, if they starting here, they can come down to here. I'm living proof of that. If they start here, they can come down to here. It's just a matter of, and this is one of the things that my buddy and his wife kind of explained to us, it's all about your emotions. When they're talking to you and trying to get you to buy in, they're feeding off your emotions. If you're like, oh yeah, we want that joint. Yeah, we want it. They got you. They got you. If you go in that joint like, yeah, I don't want it. I don't care. Nah, I'm good. I don't want it. You sure? Nah, I don't want it. Like that was her whole attitude. Our whole attitude was like, nah, I'm good. 15,000. Nah, I'm good. 13,000. Nah, I ain't got the money. 14,000. Nah, I ain't got the money. And so if that's your attitude and that's your persona that you're putting out, oh, we gotta get him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if you're somebody like me and my wife, we actually, like, the last time we were there this weekend, we had another where they have a luncheon where they sit you in and try to get you to buy in for more weeks. I was outside and I was like, I saw my wife, I said, babe, I said, I was like, yeah, yo, we almost got him. We got him. And I'm not going to, but I think that as salespeople, they're trained to probably read body language. They're probably trained to know people who are anxious. Like, yeah, we want to buy. We want it. We want it. That's how they get you. If you go into that with that mentality, we want it. We want to buy now. Now, if you got the money, you don't care. Like, hey, whatever, just whatever. Like, we know people that own timeshares that spend like $40,000, but they got the money. They don't care. To them, that's nothing. 40 grand, and to them, that's peanuts. But to us, 40 grand is not peanuts. So I think that if you want a timeshare and you actually want to buy into a timeshare, and for instance, like if you want a timeshare, you can always go on Massannutten's website or wherever area you live in, whether it's in PA, or those Poconos or whatever area you live in, you can probably go on their website and say I want a free stay, and they'll probably be like, okay, you got to sit through a 90-minute presentation, A, B, C, and D. So that's it. But if you kind of watch YouTube videos and take to what I'm saying to you right now to heart, you could probably buy in at a low price. Now, I do want to say that a timeshare, what actually gives it the great value is buying the RCI. Now, RCI is a separate membership. That's not a part of your timeshare, as far as our timeshare. And what I mean is that when you buy a timeshare, you're gonna buy at a specific location, whether it's Pennsylvania is the Poconos, and Virginia is Massanutten. Excuse me. And if you're in other countries or other states, they might have other timeshares in those states. But the real value is that when you actually combine it with the RCI membership, because the RCI membership is what gives you the accessibility to the other timeshares or other locations, other places. So like me and my wife, if we didn't have an RCI membership, we could only stay at Massanutten. That's it. You can't stay anywhere else. Or if you stay somewhere else, you pay full price. So like, let's say the Poconos was like $400 a night. You would pay $400 a night at the Poconos. Versus if you have RCI, you can transfer your week into the RCI and you can pay $299 for the transfer fee and stay at the Poconos the whole week for $299. So that's kind of where it gives you your value. Now, one of the things that our friends told us is that, like, the RCI membership, it is yearly, but if you let it expire, they'll try to get you back in with an offer for like half the cost of what you would pay for the year. I don't really remember the cost for the year. I just know that me and my wife, of course, taking heed to what our friends said, we let our RCI membership expire. And then they sent us an offer, like a multi-year offer. So I think I paid the end of last year RCI membership because our membership expired. It was like you want to pay like $150 for the year, or maybe it's like $2 something. I forget. I forget how much it was for the year, but it wasn't no more than $200 a year. It might have been like $150. I'm not really sure, but I know it wasn't no more than $200 a year. But they sent me an offer, a multi-year offer. It was like, you can get it for 2 years for this much, or 3 years, or 3 years, or 5 years. And I chose the 5-year offer, and I think I paid like $380 something for 5 years. That's because we let it expire. When you let it expire, they'll send you a discounted offer for a year or multiple years. And to be frank, do you have to have RCI if let's say you're somebody that lives in PA and you only go to the Poconos? Do you need RCI? No. If you don't intend on going anywhere else or out of the country or any other state, you can just simply say, I don't want the RCI membership, and just stick to your timeshare, which would be the Poconos or Massanutten, and you'll be perfectly fine. But me and my wife, next year for our anniversary, we intend on going out of the country or going somewhere nice. So we want to keep RCI to be able to go somewhere else. And again, the way the RCI works is that you have to use it or pair it with your week. If you have a week, you could put it in the RCI bank, and then you pay $299 as a transfer, what they call a transfer fee, to be able to use your week at any kind of anywhere RCI have resorts, and they give you this thick book that's thicker than the Bible when you buy into a timeshare, wherever location that you buy into. Because for us, they gave us RCI free for a year, so our timeshare came free with RCI for the first year, and they give you the RCI book that has over hundreds of thousands of different resorts that is owned by RCI or partner with RCI. And again, me and my wife, before we bought into our timeshare, we've always gone with our friend and his wife for free. But it's like, we go with them for free. So it's like, again, a part of owning the timeshare is that you can bring your family with you for free. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it could be a family vacation with little to no money. That's just kind of, what I wanted to say about owning a timeshare. We are owners at Massanutten and located in Virginia. And I think for those who are not familiar with the area, it's the Shenandoah. Like if you used to like it's close to Luray, the Luray Cavern is like proximity of that area. So if you guys were watching my video, I know it was long spiel. I'm gonna show you right now I'm gonna actually show you some of the footage from of the timeshare of our condo and what it looks like, so you can just kind of get a good idea of if you decide to buy or if you want to go there and check it out, what you're gonna get a good idea of what you're gonna get. Now I do want to say that they do have older buildings. Like my wife was like, because my wife was like, no, her uncle's been on there for like 15 years. She was like, yeah, his actual condo or building doesn't look as good as ours, or because he's been there for longer, so he's probably got a timeshare there like, 15 years ago, when maybe they didn't have the condos that they have now, because they're constantly building. Even when we went there this weekend, they were building more. They were building like a hotel by the water park, and they're building more condos somewhere else. So it's like, and you can actually see the active construction that they're doing. They're adding more to Massanutten. So it's like, yeah. So I just want to kind of, give them that spiel. Hope it wasn't too long-winded. Again, Dale from any reviews. Watch the video now of the footage of the actual timeshare. Till next time. Peace. So I actually want to film and let you know what it looks like. So in the video, when I explain, you can actually understand. So we have the 357 suite, and really what we did with the package that we have is that we were able to buy both condos. Both condos are 2 bedrooms. This is 2 bedrooms, and this is 2 bedrooms. We actually got both, and my wife was telling me that like. We are owners, but when she booked it, she used our bonus suite, and she was saying that it was only like a couple bucks more just to get both rooms, so it wasn't like a big deal. But her mother and her sister came and stayed down with us for a couple of days, and then they left. We're staying longer, so but when you get your section, we have the Woodstone Meadows as our condo section. They have like a general door, so it's like even if we hadn't paid for both of these condos for the weekend, one of them would have been locked. We just wouldn't have had access to one condo. And I'll show you in a minute what the condos look like in the inside. And right here we have a laundry room where you can wash your clothes. And they do have a pods that they need for you under the kitchen sink in the cabinet. So we of course got those, but I want to give you a rundown real quick. And both condos are the same. It's just that one has a kitchen and the other one does not. We were staying longer than my wife's mom and sister, but we actually didn't realize until we had already unpacked everything that we actually got the one that didn't have the kitchen. But we don't really care. We got like microwave food and toaster food, and so we were okay with that. It's actually Mother's Day weekend, and it's my wife's birthday was May 9th, and then the next day is Mother's Day weekend. So we got the condo, we got a balcony right here, beautiful. This is the living room right here. They have a vacuum cleaner and an iron board in the cabinet for you. We also have a TV, and this is my again, it's 2 bedrooms. It has one bedroom has has 2. My kids are in there, so I'm not going to show you. I'm gonna show you the bedroom on the other side because they're both same setup. But this bathroom has a jacuzzi, toilet. It also has a shower, and this right here is the master bedroom. Mess. We kind of. I probably should have filmed this the first day we got here, which is when my wife suggested, but we were just so tired from the drive. I said, "The heck with it," real quick. So. So before, this is the actual side that has the kitchen. Hey, side that has the kitchen. But they have the same setup, exactly the same setup, except that one doesn't have that one doesn't have a. I'm sorry, it has a stove. It doesn't have a. I'm sorry, it has a kitchen. Doesn't have a stove. So yeah, the other side doesn't have a stove. Right here, again, the fridge. Again, again, this is the rooms that I didn't show you in the other video. The rooms have 2 beds that my kids were in their bed, and it comes with a TV in the room. Get that light on. It also has they have great view too. But yeah, again, so this is the Massanutten um metal stone. If you guys are owner or think about buying, this is what you get.